What's up, y'all, and welcome to another episode of Worldly Church Girl. It's your girl, your host, Lillian Harshaw. On today's show, I have the honor to introduce to you this young lady who has a degree in performing arts. She is a community activist. She is a mentor for the youth of Indianapolis, Indiana, and she is also an entrepreneur. It gives me great privilege to introduce to you Shanell Thomas. So you were born and raised in Gary, Indiana, and attended and graduated from Emerson Visual Performing Arts. Then you studied theater. That's when you started dealing with depression and anxiety. And you and your family decided that you should go to school closer to home. Your depression grew. You started having panic attacks at school. So you decided just to move back home altogether. As time went on, you got married, had a beautiful daughter. A few years later or so, you and your husband end up getting a divorce. So you decide to move back home to help your father, who was he was ill when he passed away in 2018. And I'm very sorry because I lost my daddy too, so I know how that feels.
Thank you.
You're welcome. With all that being said, you took those moments in your life and you turned it into a mission. And now you're an entrepreneur, you're a CEO and a founder of your own mentoring organization. You've come a long way, girl.
Thank you. Yes,
You're
I'm
welcome.
trying.
Oh, you're not trying, you're doing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So let's begin with your earliest passions. What made you choose theater as a major?
Well, originally when attending Emerson, funny story, I wanted to be a dance major. I went in, tried out for dance, and obviously I sucked. So
Not obviously.
they back then they required you to pick 3 majors to choose from, and you had to audition for all 3. So I chose dance, theater, and I chose vocal. Couldn't sing, still can't sing a lick, but that was the other option because I didn't want to do band or anything else. So I was real confident in the dance thing, but then when the audition came, they hit me with ballet, and I was like, oh, this is okay, and you gotta do this and that, and I wasn't too familiar with that type of form of dance. I was familiar with praise dancing and a little bit of jazz, but not ballet and tap. So I didn't make it with dance. Vocal, obviously, like I said, I can't sing a lick, so I didn't get that, so that was no surprise. Theater, I actually went in, they gave me a script and I read it, and I made it, and I was actually shocked. Like, my parents will always joke with me growing up, like, you are such a drama queen, like, you need to be on TV because of my personality and attitude. But so I was kind of surprised still, though, that Emerson accepted me into their theater program. So Emerson went from 6th grade to 12th. So I was there through my 6th grade year up until my 12th, graduated, decided to pursue my acting because I ended up falling in love with it. And I went off to Vincennes University, that's located in Vincennes, Indiana, and I majored in theater. And it was fun. I really did enjoy it. It was a great experience. I did a few shows while I was in college, and that was my passion. It became my passion because it wasn't at first, but it became my passion after doing it so long and becoming so familiar with it. And I made great friends in both areas and both parts of my life when attending Emerson and Vincennes University.
Now, which actor or actress do you kind of look at and think, that's the type of acting I wanted to do?
Oh, that's a good question. Which actress? I love the lady from Unloving Basketball. She's amazing to me. Shanell Thomas. She seems like she has a great spirit on and off screen, and I feel like every film that she's in, she shows that. Like, I love her characters. Like, I think she's amazing. So that's one person that I would definitely say I look up to. Like, I like her. I really do.
Yeah, she's pretty diverse too.
She
Yeah, because each
is.
role is never like the last role. Yeah, I can see
Yes.
that. I can see
Yeah,
that.
and that's what I always want to do. You know how you see or you come across certain actors or actresses and they're only in this type of film. They don't have that
Mm-hmm.
diverse thing about them. So I love the fact that you can put her in any and everything, and she's good at it. Like, I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah. Yeah. She's a little underrated. She
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 is,
she's underrated. She's under the radar. God, people got to check her out a little bit more. Um.
They do.
So when you were in school, do you remember the moment that you started to feel overwhelmed?
Yeah, actually, while attending Vincennes University, I was there for 2.5 years. I had my good days. That was my first time being away from home, and it was only 4 hours away. But I've always been close to my parents, so the purpose of me of going off to school and living on campus was to experience a little more independence and to be on my own, get a sense of being on my own a lot. But I
Mm-hmm.
became overwhelmed once I started really realizing that I was having health issues. Like, I didn't know what was taking place, far as like with the whole anxiety or panic attacks. I would just always say, okay, maybe I'm just maybe it's just school, or maybe it's just me being homesick. So when I found out that it was actually me having anxiety, and then it started triggering panic attacks, I was like, okay, this is overwhelming. Like, I don't know what to do. In the midst of that, my dad, he was sick then. Like, my dad, I have much older parents, so my dad, he became sick around that time while me attending Vincennes University, and he wasn't I wasn't used to not being there with them. So that, to me, let alone, made me just feel kind of like useless, and it made me feel as though I didn't have a purpose. So even though I had my moments where I was enjoying being on campus, I was enjoying my classes or whatnot, I couldn't help but to think about my father back at home. I couldn't help but to stress and think about my health or whatnot. It became a little bit too much, and I just felt like at at that time I had no choice but to go back home, or to at least move closer to home. So I would say, like, throughout those 2.5 years, that's when I really, became overwhelmed. I've always been the responsible one. I've always been the one to go get my dad medication, do little things, or my mom would give me little things to do. Like, she taught me how to help pay bills at a young age. It was just a lot of things I was used to doing. So I felt real guilty that I wasn't able to get to them the way I wanted to, or to help out as much the way I was used to helping out. So, yeah.
So when you moved back home and things started shifting in your life and you met somebody and you got
hmm
married, were you still dealing with depression then at that time?
Yeah, without even knowing it. The gentleman that I had met, who's my daughter's father, we were friends. We became good friends over time, and we decided to go and get married. And I was still dealing with stuff, far as with my anxiety. In 2015 is when we got married, but a few months prior to our wedding, I had actually got diagnosed with a pituitary gland tumor on the brain. I wasn't familiar with that. I wasn't too sure what that meant at the time. I was just like, as soon as the doctor told me, I'm like, well, what is that? What did that come from? I know I'm having anxiety attacks and panic attacks. He was like, no, but with that, with the pituitary gland tumor, it basically throws off your hormones as well. He was like, do you ever feel nauseated? And I was fainting. I would randomly have like these episodes where I just passed out or something. My appetite was terrible. Like, I barely was eating anything, so I was losing a lot of weight. And if you see me, I'm already tiny. I had a hard time gaining weight by then. So when the doctors had diagnosed me, I had to find a neurologist out in Chicago, and I went to was University of Chicago, the hospital out there. They ran tests and stuff, and I did that for a while. I say after, because we got married July 25th of 2015. So after our wedding or whatnot, I went back in to see my doctor so I can do my regular checkup, because I was doing checkups, a routine checkup. And once we got in there and he ran some tests, he was like, "Well, Shanell, I don't know what you've been doing, what's going on, but it looks like you're getting better. And from the X-rays, really I don't really see anything at this
Well, thank the
moment."
Lord.
And when I told you that, when I tell you, me and my mom had an entire moment in the hospital, because she's
Yes.
crying, she's a nervous wreck, And then we're praying, and she was like, "You don't see anything?" Doctor was like, "I don't. Like, I don't know like what's happening, what has changed." And I'm just like, I don't know, but I don't want to question it. Like,
Ain't that
let's
it?
not question. I just, I'm just thankful for it. So I haven't had any issues. Every once in a while, I still go get checked or whatnot. But no new information. Everything seems to be doing fine. So at that moment, that was something else that hit me, and it just seemed like at that time, in that moment of my life, when moving back home, it was just like one thing after another. So yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, but thank the Lord that you're healed. Thank God.
Yes, yes,
Thank
yes.
God. Yeah, I would have been like your mom. I probably tore that hospital room up.
Oh, she was something else. Oh, thank you. I was just like, oh my goodness, mama. And it would be me. And at the time, my daughter's father was there, and then my friends were there. They were all praying with me. I was
Hmm.
just like, man, this is crazy. This is such a blessing. I'm so thankful for that. So yeah, it was
Yes.
it was great.
Can you share what happened to your dad and your brother?
My brother, he passed away in October 2017. Well, I'm sorry, that's his birthday. He passed away December 2017, and he was actually staying with my parents or whatnot. Me and him have different mothers, and he's my oldest sibling or whatnot. So he's much older, but he was always around. We always kept in contact. We were pretty close. Um, he had it's so crazy because at the time around I had moved to Las Vegas. I was living in Las Vegas, Nevada. I was a teacher at one point, so I was teaching out in Las Vegas, Nevada. And I had returned back in 2016, and I had moved back in with my parents. So at this time, my brother Lenny, he was staying with my parents. And so I remember this one particular day, he had came by to visit or whatnot. He had found out that I had moved back in with my parents because at this time, me and my daughter's father were separated. We had decided to separate. And so he had came over to the house talking to me, and he was just like, I told you, you know how brothers can be,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
told you, and you're gonna be fine. Stop crying. I'm here, and just giving me like a big brother pep talk. And it was so weird because we sat on the couch talking for like hours, but I wasn't like at a I don't know, I was like at a different place, and I was so sad. Like I didn't want to come back. I didn't want to move back to Gary. I was
Mhm.
very upset that I had to come back to Gary. I was very upset that I had to start over in my parents' home. So that talk with my brother, it was just like, okay, I know I need to hear this, but I'm just like, this is just not the time. But he sat there with me. We spent the whole day talking. I say a few days later, he had came to me one day, one evening, and he was just like, you know what? Since I just, I feel like I don't feel right. I feel like something is going to happen. So by this time, it's me, my brother Lenny, and my mom and my dad, because my dad was still living at the time. We were in the living room, and he kept telling us like he had a feeling that that someone was out trying to hurt him, or that he was like he wasn't going to make it. And my dad was like, why are you saying that? Like, don't say that. Don't speak that up on your life. Like, what's going on? Like, is someone
Mhm.
after you or anything? And he was just like, I don't know, but I just got this feeling. And shortly enough, a few days later, we got a call. It was around midnight. My dad got a phone call, and they said that my brother, who had just decided to pack up his bags and move back to California, because he was living in California prior to coming back to Gary to live with my
Mhm.
parents, shortly after they had found his body.
Oh my
Um,
God.
and they ruled it as natural cause death. They really didn't give much information or whatever. They just said it was a natural cause. So originally, my dad and his family and a few other of my siblings are all from Tennessee. So we end up having to go out to Tennessee and bury him or whatnot. But it was just that it was just so weird. Like I've heard the saying that sometimes they say sometimes people know, like
Yeah.
people know when their time has come. But it was just crazy because we were just having these conversations, and the conversations were so different. And the fact that he had just left and said that, and he was so concerned, I was just like, wow, and this happened. So I don't know, but he was a character. He was so goofy. He was so goofy. He had a fun personality. Anybody around him would have loved him or whatever. He was very protective of anybody he loved. He was super duper protective. He was a great character to be around.
I'm so sorry for your losses, and I'm glad you got some great memories from your dad and from your brother.
Yes.
After all this happens, this draws you nearer to your purpose of helping others deal with their depression, and you begin a nonprofit organization. So, can you tell us about that?
Sure. Now, like I said, my brother, he had passed away. That was December of 2017. My dad passed away September 10th of 2018. So I was already working toward center stage mentoring program. I was just doing little things within Gary. Like we would host back to school events. I was working part time at the Boys and Girls Club. So the little money that I'll get there, I'll save up. And in August we'll host like back to school events, or me and my college friends, we decided to do a summer camp for young ladies ages 11 through 16, where it lasted for about 6 weeks, and we would all meet up. We would just do different activities with them. One day we have a spa day. The next day, my friend, a close friend of mine, her name is Brianna, she actually came out and taught a dance class because she's a graduate from Juilliard. Another day, we'll go attend a program somewhere that's nearby or whatnot. And then we had another day where we actually made T-shirts representing center stage. So I was dibbling and dabbling in a lot of different things, and going to nursing home, playing bingo with the elderly and stuff like that. But after my father died in 2018, I had sat down and I had spoke to my mom, and I had told her, I really need to take this serious. This is something I really want to do. I've always been good at working. I'm a hard worker. I love kids. I love helping people. And it was just at that moment, after when you lose a parent, it's just this other feeling, like you just like, okay, this is not what my dad would want for me. He wants me to stay focused. He wants me to live out my purpose, do whatever it is I have to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I relocated to Indianapolis. I left one weekend. I asked my mom if she can watch my daughter for me. I was like, Mom, I'm gonna just go out there. My niece and nephews, they stay in Indianapolis. So I was like, I'm gonna just go check on my niece and nephews. I'll be back tomorrow. I was just staying over the night. I ended up coming to Indianapolis, and I stayed longer than the night. I was in a sweat, like a little sweat suit outfit or whatnot. Came across somebody who offered me a job position, interviewed me right there on the spot, in
Wow.
jogging pants and a t-shirt, and my hair is just all over my head or whatnot. But we were in a conversation. They were telling me what they do, and it was telling me how much money they make. And so it was a call center, but it was a great job, a great stepping stone. Do you know, ever since that day that I came out to Indianapolis, I haven't left, and I've been here for over a year now.
Oh,
After
wow.
Yeah, after 2 weeks of being in Indianapolis, I got my own apartment.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to stick with that job, save up more money, and to actually relocate center stage to Indianapolis as well with me. So now we're doing things in Gary, Indiana, and in Indianapolis.
Look at you. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Okay. So, are
So
you working with the Boys and Girls Club in Indianapolis too?
no, I'm not. I'm trying to, because that would be so nice. So I'm not working with them at the moment. And as you know, everything is so crazy and hectic right now. So right
True.
now it's just me and my team members, and we're just basically working, on our own thing. And we're trying to set up a lot of virtual meetings with the
Mm-hmm.
mentees, as well as virtual tutoring sessions with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, unfortunately, I'm not working with the Boys and Girls Club at the moment.
Now, I think I already know the answer to this question, but how did you come up with the name Center Stage?
It definitely draws back to theater from Emerson. Wanting to be up front on stage, and I feel like our youth, they need to be put center stage. They need to put full forth, because they are our future leaders. So that's how I came up with center stage. Yeah, I know. You like, yeah, after hearing this, I
I,
kind of knew that.
but it makes sense. I mean, the reason behind it for you, but what it inspires children to do. So it
Right.
makes perfect sense why you would choose that name. Um, and on top of all that, you got the nerve to have your own jewelry line.
I do. I gotta stay busy. I have to stay busy. I do. I do have my own jewelry line, and of course, it is through Paparazzi. It's called Chanel's Boutique. I just started in April, but it's doing really good. It's doing really, really good. I have a great support system that's with me, and I enjoy it. And it's just like a little something before I really start doing some more stuff because I already came up with some more ideas I want to do. I'm like, okay, now I want to open up an entire boutique. And
Look at
I'm just
you.
like, okay, look, I just want to do so. It's so much stuff that I want to do. I know I can't just throw myself out there, but I just feel like it's a lot of things I can be doing, and I want to do. And I feel like this is the perfect opportunity, like to build up our community, work with others, and just do it. Like, why not?
Right,
So
and you're
yeah,
right. You are absolutely right. This is the time for everybody to pursue whatever their passion has ever been. This is
yes,
it. This is it.
yeah.
Reach up and grab it.
Yes, everything happens for a reason. So I believe that. I definitely believe that. So I'm taking
A-
advantage of this.
Amen. Amen. Now, you said there's so much you want to do. There's a little birdie that told me that you also are thinking about writing a book.
Yes, ma'am.
Uh, so you just ain't got enough in your life, huh?
I
You just
don't.
ain't
I
gonna leave
don't.
nothing for the rest of us, huh?
I've always been told that I should, because even, with this interview and me telling you, the things that have taken place in my life, there's so much other things I want to talk about. Um, and I just want to empower. I want to empower women. I want to share my story, and I want to let the world know that, you're not by yourself. Everyone has a testimony.
Yes.
Everyone got a background. Everyone has a past, and it doesn't matter, where you came from, where you grew up at, because there's so many stories people will tell you about Gary, but that doesn't make you
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah,
So
because Gary was
yeah,
deemed the murder capital of the world.
yes, yes,
I'm from
yes.
Indianapolis, so I know.
Look,
I know.
yeah. See, you right up the street, so you like, yeah, I
Mhm.
know,
Oh,
yeah.
I know. You can drive
So
through. We could drive through.
and if you ever was to go out there, like at this moment, we have no schools. The
Hmm.
only thing that's really up now, and it's barely up, is the steel mill.
Yeah.
So I just feel like it's necessary for me to share my story. I feel like it's more than necessary for me to empower people, especially women, especially all the things that I have went through, not just taking losses with grieving process, but even a loss with a marriage and grieving over that, because that is a loss. A
Hmm.
divorce is a loss, and
Yes,
you
it
do go
is.
through a grieving process with that, and then starting over as being a single parent, and then trying
Yes.
to start over with someone new.
Yes.
So it is a process, it is a journey, and so I really want to go ahead and talk about that a little more, and just go ahead and put out a book.
And I'm going to put this disclosure out. I know a lot of people from Gary, and those are the most strongest, hustlingest people I know.
You have to. You already said you see what's out there. You have
I
to be.
I know, but everybody I know from Gary, they ain't something you want to mess with. And I'm not saying that in a threatening way. I'm saying that as they know they stuff.
Yeah, work
So
ethics. We try to work very hard. Not everyone is like that, but majority of people, like a lot of people that I've graduated school with, they're doing wonderful things, for us to be, our age. And I'm just like, wow, you all are doing big things. This is good. So
yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So don't knock Gary, y'all. Don't do it. Don't
But
do it. So, what are
mhm.
some signs that people should look for in someone and within themselves that they may be going through depression?
A loss of interest in anything that they used to love. And sometimes that can be a part of growth. So don't get me wrong, because sometimes you're not interested in certain things because you're growing. But if it's like, for instance, they want to be to themselves, they isolate themselves a lot more. They don't seem interested in a lot of things that may occupy their time. That can be one thing. Because I was like that, even with school. Like I love being around my friends and doing things with them. But when I became depressed, it was just like I would literally have my moments where I would just be in my dorm room and I would just be crying. Like, I would just be crying. I'm just sad. I'm thinking about a million things at once. And I wasn't interested in anything at that moment. The only thing I wanted to do was just like sit there and just cry. So that can be one thing. But like I mentioned before, my appetite had changed, and I was losing weight, and it was not good. It was not good. Like I wasn't eating right. I wanted to sleep. So it was like a lack of interest and just wanting to sleep, and my conversations were different. Like I just didn't have no oomph. I didn't have any confidence in anything that I was doing. I didn't have any confidence in myself. So, my best friend, who's still my best friend to this day, who went to college with me, she would tell me, she was like, you just don't seem right. It wasn't that I was negative, but I just didn't care. Like I was just like, whatever. Like I just don't care. She was like, that's not good. So, you just got to pay attention to those things. I think those things right there would say it all. Well, I always say, oh, I'm okay, I'm fine. But just pay close attention to your loved ones and your friends, those you really love and care about. And try to help them out the best way you can, whether it's getting outside help or trying to be there and motivate them and encourage them, or get them in some activities that would try to get them back on track and interest them. I think that would definitely be it.
Now, how can people contact you, whether they want to be a part of Center Stage or get some jewelry from you? How can they get in contact with you?
I'm on all social media. I have a Twitter, I have a Instagram, and a Facebook. You can just type in Shanell Thomas, Shanell, Thomas, Thomas. Far as like going straight to the Center Stage page, I have that located. You can go ahead and put in Center Stage, CenterStage, and mentoring, mentoring. And it'll pop right up. But just putting in my name along on any social media sites will definitely pop up. And I have most of my social media sites are my business pages, and I have links on there as well. So, that would be, the best way to contact me or reach me.
Here's your last question. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
If you could have any song be your theme song when you walked into a room, what would it be and why?
I have the perfect answer for that. It's a song called Even Angels by Fantasia that I love and I play on my days where I need a little boost. So this particular song talks about even angels fall sometimes. We fall short sometimes. And it talks about within the song of her having to start over and do things on her own. So it's a booster. It's a self-esteem booster. So if you haven't, definitely check it out. But it's a positive song. Some people say it's more like a church song or whatnot. I don't know what it is, but I know I love it and it motivates me every time. And that would be my theme song, Even Angels.
Okay. And she's the bomb live. If you ever get a chance, or whenever this country decides to act right.
To open up.
Yeah, to act right. Not just open up, act right.
Right.
And if you get a chance, go see her live, because she is probably 1,000 times better live than she is on her CDs.
And I believe you too. I believe you because I love her.
Well, thank you so much. This was really enjoyable and eye-opening. You are such a sweetheart.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you having me and giving me this opportunity. It means a lot. I really do appreciate you.
Thank you, Shanell, for being on my show. I greatly appreciate it. You are an inspiration to all young women all over the world. What you're doing for the community is setting an example that if you persevere, you can do anything. And if you would like to be on Worldly Church Girl, click the link below, shoot me an email, and let's see what we can do with that thing. And by the way, I'm about to roll up on season 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You need to go ahead and subscribe. You don't want to miss another episode. And what episode you did miss, You might want to go back and check them out. And once again, thanks for joining your one and only Worldly Church Girl.